Stockton, California has long been a hub of rail activity. This is the Burlington Zephyr on its promotional tour in 1934 in front of the Western Pacific Depot. This is the Western Pacific Depot as it appeared in 2005. It was built in 1910 and retired in 1970. The Southern Pacific Depot, located nearby on the parallel SP main line, was completed in 1930 and served until 1986. The depot was unique on the SP. The SP depot sat derelict for several years. These photos from 2000 show the building in its deteriorated state. This view looking south shows the spur track used by the Altamont Commuter Express, or ACE. These scenes are now but a memory. The station was restored and reopened in 2003 as Robert J. Cabral Station. The building now serves as ACE headquarters. In the pre-dawn darkness on a chilly morning in October of 2005, a few passengers park their cars at Cabral Station and get ready to begin their morning commute. Join us for this look at ACE, the Altamont Commuter Express, and its Northern California rail connections. As the sky begins to lighten, Train 5 pulls into the station. ACE's morning trains are numbered 1, 3, and 5. ACE operates 3 train sets in push-pull mode using Bombardier coaches and Motive Power rebuilt F40 PH-3C locomotives. Rapid population growth in the San Joaquin Valley since the 1980s and the resulting traffic congestion along the Interstate 580 corridor provided the impetus to create a rail transit alternative over Altamont Pass. ACE is governed by the Altamont Commuter Express Joint Powers Authority, or JPA, and trains are operated by Herzog Transit Services. ACE operates on former Southern Pacific trackage through Stockton. The now abandoned parallel Western Pacific main line is just a few yards to the east. Because a typical ACE train set is just slightly longer than the spur track in front of the Cabral station, the locomotive will not quite clear the East Weber Street crossing while the train is at the station. The former Western Pacific station is just out of view across the street and to the right. ACE Train 5 is about to depart on time at 6:40 a.m. Train 5 heads south toward the BNSF crossing at Stockton Yard. The first stop along the ACE route is Lathrop, Manteca. Some early commuters are buying tickets at the booth. Train 3 arrives in the early morning darkness. All of the ACE stations are clean and well lit. Lathrop Manteca Station is one of 2 stations on the line built on a curve. The cars are leaning slightly due to the super elevation of the track. Aside from the curve, this station is very similar to others along the line, consisting of a platform, a few passenger shelters, lights, a ticket booth, and a parking lot. Train 3 leaves the platform on time at 5:53 a.m. The train has to leave the station slowly to give the crossing gates on Yosemite Avenue just south of the station time to come down. Quite a few passengers get on the train at Tracy. ACE carries about 1,400 passengers every weekday. The Tracy station is located along former Western Pacific trackage and follows the same general design as the one in Lathrop, typical of stations built specifically to serve ACE. As in Lathrop, the train has to exit the station cautiously to give the crossing gates time to operate. Running on the same line where the California Zephyr once rolled, Train 5 pulls into the station. Tracy began as a railroad town and features a stylized locomotive in the official city seal. Like many other towns in the area, Tracy has evolved into a bedroom community for the San Francisco Bay Area. Train 5 leaves Tracy on time at 7:12 a.m. On the days we filmed, ACE was on time more often than not. When it was late, it was rarely by more than 5 minutes. Train 5 crosses South Tracy Boulevard as it continues westbound toward Altamont Pass. ACE and Union Pacific are not the only railroads in Tracy. The California Northern operates on former Southern Pacific trackage in the area. We chased GP 15-1, number 112 for a while as it headed up an eastbound freight on California Northern's West Side Subdivision, which runs from Tracy to Los Banos. With a spectacular sunrise in the background, Train 5 passes the siding at Midway and crosses Patterson Pass Road on its way west. Following the old Western Pacific right-of-way, the ACE train crosses the bridge over eastbound Interstate 580. Though the area is mostly ranch land, Altamont Pass is also known for its many windmills. An eastbound UP manifest takes the siding at Altamont to clear the line for ACE. Train 5 appears from out of a cut. The grade of the former Southern Pacific line is visible immediately below the track ACE is using. There's been some discussion of installing a second track over Altamont for ACE to avoid delays due to UP traffic on the line. Such a track would presumably use the old SP grade, though it is uncertain whether this will ever come to pass. Just before the Altamont siding, the train crosses the old SP grade and Altamont Pass Road. Westbound Train 5 meets the eastbound UP freight amidst a blaze of golden grass. This entire area is a sea of green in the springtime. Perhaps the most photogenic spot on Altamont Pass is the old Western Pacific Greenville Bridge. This photograph from 1957 shows WP 460 number 94 and 282 number 334 pulling a 7-car Butte Plumas excursion trip from Portola to Oakland. This is the same bridge in late 2005. The old SP right-of-way is clearly visible in the foreground. After crossing under Interstate 580, the train descends into Livermore. This traffic congestion on westbound 580 is typical during the morning as people commute into the Bay Area, and one of the reasons ACE has proved to be a popular alternative to driving. There are 2 ACE stations in Livermore. From the east end of Vasco Station, we see Train 3 approaching the platform after coming down from Altamont Pass. Vasco Station is on the east side of Livermore and was built specifically for ACE. The platform is just a little bit short for the number of cars on the ACE train this morning. Train 3 gets underway right on time. Between stations, the train comes around the curve and heads toward the east end of Livermore siding. The ditch lights are off because the westbound ACE is about to meet an eastbound UP freight on the Livermore siding. The diesels make plenty of smoke as they get their train underway. Note the former SP tunnel motor in the consist, still in scarlet and gray. The parking garage at Livermore Station provided this great overhead shot of Train 3 arriving. The old Western Pacific Mission-style Livermore Depot stood west of the current Ace Station. It was built in 1908 and torn down in 1956. The current Livermore Station is in downtown Livermore, several miles west of the Vasco Road Station. As dawn breaks over the Pleasanton Ace Station, we arrive just in time to catch an eastbound UP manifest. The lead unit is a repainted XSP tunnel motor. Looking northeast, we see Ace Train 3 passing several grade crossings. The old Western Pacific Depot once stood a short distance north and east of the current station. It was constructed in 1910 and retired in 1963. It has long since been torn down. Development in Pleasanton has also obliterated much of the old Southern Pacific right-of-way through town. East of Pleasanton, the train rolls through the Castlewood Country Club. A little further south, the line crosses Pleasanton-Senol Road. The track on the lower left is the current eastern end of the line for the Niles Canyon Railway, which operates weekend excursions along rebuilt portions of the old SP line. Here's another view of the same bridge from the northern end of Hearst Siding. South of Hearst, the line turns west and passes through Senol. From here, the train will continue west through Niles Canyon. An eastbound UP manifest with a patched X Rio Grande and an unpatched SP unit on the point heads out of Niles Canyon. Ace splits the signals, leaving Senol westbound. The train crosses under Highway 84 again as it enters another tunnel, leaving the picturesque wooded scenery of Niles Canyon behind. Besides the railroad, the historic Niles district of Fremont is known for its early silent movies, including several films starring Charlie Chaplin. As it heads out of Niles Canyon, Ace continues west toward the former site of Niles Tower. As the train crosses over Mission Boulevard, it leaves the UP's Canyon subdivision and will continue on the Coast Subdivision's Centerville line. Train 5 crosses the former SP Milpitas line just west of Mission Boulevard. From here, the train will continue west toward Centerville Depot. Here's westbound Capital 521 crossing Alameda Creek on the former SP Hayward line. The extra power is probably due to a dead unit in the consist, and the train is running late as a result. The Capital will follow Ace onto the Centerville line as it passes the site of Niles Tower. Though the tower itself no longer stands, the name remains on the timetable. Here's a westbound UP coming up the Dakota line. Note the Illinois Central unit in the consist. With the Numi Automotive plant just a few miles to the south, long strings of auto racks are common in this area. Niles Tower was built by Western Pacific in 1913 and served until the Union Pacific closed it in 1986. Unfortunately, two suspicious fires later that same year put an end to any hope of preservation. Today, the tower is just a memory. Completed in 1910, the historic Centerville Depot in Fremont is one of the few remaining Southern Pacific Standard No. 23 one-story combination depots and the only one still used in rail passenger service. The train order semaphore between the depot and the tracks is an original Southern Pacific signal, though it is not the one that was originally installed at Centerville. This signal was restored and installed in 2002, and is the only SP train order signal in its historically accurate location along an active main line. Centerville is one of the few remaining historic depots along the ACE route. This depot has its own website full of historical and current information about Centerville, Niles, and other nearby points of interest. Ace Train 5 comes down the line towards Centerville Depot right on time. Since this train has stopped partway into the street, the crossing gates will remain down until the train leaves. Centerville line cuts a direct path through the middle of Fremont and Newark. Note the 79 miles per hour passenger speed limit here. Here's Train 5 in Newark crossing beneath the Newark Boulevard overpass. Train 5 crosses Sycamore Street as it heads into the Y, where the Centerville line joins the coastline. This portion of the coastline is also known as the Mulford Line. ACE will run on the coastline from here until it terminates in San Jose. The Centerville line once continued west across San Francisco Bay on the Dumbarton Rail Bridge, but most of that section of the line has been out of service since 1982. South of Fremont, the coastline runs on a causeway through marshes and ponds once used to harvest salt. The right-of-way here was originally part of the South Pacific Coast Narrow Gauge Railroad. The line crosses Station Island, site of the now abandoned town of Drawbridge. The first building in Drawbridge was constructed in 1876. At its height during Prohibition, Drawbridge had a reputation as a lawless place. The end of Prohibition and the growth of the surrounding areas spelled the end for Drawbridge. The last resident left town in 1979. Today, little remains. This area is now part of the San Francisco Bay National Wildlife Refuge. Though Drawbridge is no longer readily accessible, several miles of public trails through Alviso Marina County Park provide excellent views of the former Southern Pacific right-of-way. Coyote Creek Slough is the border between Alameda County to the north and Santa Clara County to the south, two of the three counties served by ACE. The San Joaquin Regional Rail Commission, the Alameda Congestion Management Agency, and the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority each have 3 members on the ACE Joint Powers Authority Board of Directors. The train passes milepost 37. The Union Pacific Coast Line is over 450 miles long, running from West Oakland all the way to Burbank Junction in Southern California. South of Drawbridge, the train rolls along this picturesque causeway as it heads into Alviso. The South Pacific Coast Narrow Gauge Railroad completed track through Alviso in 1876. The old Southern Pacific Depot still stands, but no passenger trains currently stop here. Alviso was once expected to become a thriving port town. However, the creation of the San Francisco and San Jose Railroad, the line now used by Caltrain, diverted business away from Alviso. Today, Alviso has a character all its own. A throwback to a simpler time in the midst of high-tech Silicon Valley. The train crosses Guadalupe River as it leaves Alviso and heads south toward the Great America Station. The Santa Clara Great America Station, used by both Amtrak and ACE, is also a connection point for Santa Clara County's VTA light rail system. A stairway connects the Tasman Drive overpass to the station below. On this gray morning, ACE Train 3 is right on schedule. Large numbers of passengers get off the train at Great America Station. Many will board one of several free ACE shuttle buses lined up in the station parking lot to complete their morning commute. A number of well-known Silicon Valley companies have offices near here. Paramount's Great America theme park is about a third of a mile southwest of the station. Because service to the Santa Clara station was suspended at the time this was filmed, Great America Station was the last intermediate stop for ACE before the final stop in San Jose. Originally constructed for the South Pacific Coast Narrow Gauge Railroad, the old Agnew Depot still stands. The California Central Model Railroad Club purchased the historic building in 1963. Agnew was also known for Agnew's State Mental Hospital. Like the depot, the hospital has since been put to other uses and now serves as a campus for Sun Microsystems. The Agnew Depot is now a recognized historical landmark. Capital 523, having just stopped at Great America, heads south toward Santa Clara with a superliner car and a consist. The morning sun hangs over a hazy San Jose skyline as a northbound Caltrain crosses under Interstate 880, approaching the Santa Clara station. Having passed Agnew a few minutes earlier, a westbound Capital comes down the coastline and heads past the old Santa Clara Interlocking Tower. This is the point where Union Pacific's coastline joins Caltrain's Peninsula subdivision. From here to San Jose, Amtrak's Capitals and ACE share the rails with Caltrain. Capital Corridor trains do not stop at Santa Clara. Santa Clara Interlocking Tower was built in 1926 and served as an active interlocking tower from 1927 until 1993. Southbound Caltrain Limited Stop 208 drifts past the tower as it comes to a stop at the platform. CP Coast, the Caltrain junction, is at milepost 44.6 on the Union Pacific coastline. Santa Clara Depot is now home to the South Bay Historical Railroad Society, and it is largely through their efforts that the depot has been preserved and renovated. At the time this was filmed, ACE had temporarily suspended stops at Santa Clara due to track work in the area. Instead, ACE was providing shuttle bus service to Santa Clara. ACE Train 3 chases the departing Caltrain into the glow of the early morning as both trains continue south toward San Jose. A short time later, a Caltrain Baby Bullet blasts past Santa Clara. The Baby Bullet heads for its last stop at San Jose past an ACE train set that has returned from San Jose and will remain stored here until the evening. ACE is currently parking its other two train sets at San Jose. In the distance, the southbound Bullet meets a northbound Caltrain Limited stop under the freeway overpass. Some Caltrain limited stop trains like this one bypass Santa Clara, as do all the baby bullet trains. All northbound Caltrains take the west leg of the junction here and continue on to San Francisco. Eastbound ACE and Amtrak trains, as well as most freight trains, turn east and remain on the coastline. San Jose's Diridon station is quiet at daybreak, but soon these empty platforms will see a steady stream of passengers and trains that will continue nearly without pause until late in the evening. Later in the morning, Ace Train 3 enters the station and heads on to Track 4. Caltrain begins its run to San Francisco as Ace squeals to a stop. Another Caltrain departs southbound from Track 5 while an MP36 waits with its train on Track 2. While San Jose is the end of the line for Ace, Caltrain operates many trains further south, a few as far as Gilroy. Formerly known as Cahill Street Station, these platforms once hosted such famous trains as the Southern Pacific Daylight and Lark. After all the passengers have disembarked, Ace will pull forward to clear the platform for other trains. Across the tracks, we get a brief glimpse of one of VTA's light rail cars. The VTA station is accessible through the same pedestrian tunnel that leads to the station platforms. The Ace train set is entering a storage track with no platform. By the end of the morning, this area will be full of trains.
Either track in either direction.
Capital 521 pulls into the station running late. Normally, this train arrives before Ace Train 3. While the Capital is letting off passengers, the Caltrain F40 on Track 3 is about to begin its run to San Francisco. The first Caltrain is barely clear of the platform before another comes in from the south to take its place. The F-59 and F-40 pose for an EMD passenger power portrait. 3 of the major rail transit agencies that use Diridon are represented in this view. Caltrain F-40 number 909 had some nose damage on the day we filmed, the result of a collision with a lumber truck in late 2005. On time as usual, Ace Train 5 rounds the curve into Diridon. This train will stop on track 5. Almost as if it were a staged photo op, Train 5 comes to a stop lined up perfectly with Train 3. Train 5 is running with 5 cars this morning, while Train 3 had 6. After letting off its passengers, this Ace Train set will also pull south and come back to park on another track. From this angle, we can see a collection of Caltrain locomotives parked in the maintenance area. Both Ace Train sets end up parked nose to tail on the same track. From the VTA platform, we catch a trolley coming in from the south. The VTA tracks are separate from the other station tracks at Diridon. While we were filming the evening segment at Diridon, Track 1 was temporarily out of service. We were treated to quite a parade of Union Pacific maintenance of way vehicles. Eastbound Ace trains carry even numbers. This is Train 4, the second of 3 eastbounds, beginning its run back to Stockton. This shot shows the difference in profiles between the Amtrak F59 and the Caltrain MP36. The train set that is soon to become Ace Train 6 starts rolling, but it will have to take a platform track before it can board passengers.
And passengers without a valid ticket will receive a citation.
The train comes back into the station on track 4. Passengers begin boarding the train as soon as it stops. While Ace was waiting to leave, a UP ballast train comes to the station with a patched SP GP40M-2 leading. Finally, it's time for Ace Train 6 to get going. The train rolls into the night, lit by the flashing ditch lights of another train in the station. We hope you've enjoyed this look at the Altamont Commuter Express from Stockton to San Jose. If you enjoyed today's program, you can order the full-length version on DVD. All of our DVDs include a 99-picture still photo gallery.